Well, years ago, my dad had like a business and stuff, and it was really a lot of weird stuff happened there and stuff. A lot of times when we would stay there after work and stuff. Well, it was a restaurant, so a lot of times we would stay there and eat, and when no one was there, and you could just hear people walking, and like we had like an attic, and you could hear like someone would like walk over to you on the attic, but there was nobody there. Just a lot of weird stuff would happen there.
Is there anything else?
Like one time after we closed and stuff, we had the bathroom had like a chain, and when the door would open, you would hear the chain snap and stuff. And one day after we checked everything, make sure that nobody was there anymore. Like we literally heard the door just open up. And the weird thing was that we ran over there and looked to see if anybody was in the bathrooms. Because I mean, we were scared. We thought like someone was trying to rob us, but nobody was there. And after we just kind of like dismissed it, said that's kind of stupid. But then like 2 seconds later, it did it again. So we just kind of hightailed out of there. So.
I can't really say I've ever had anything that can't be explained ever happened.
House was in Brooklyn. This is when I was still living in New York, and I think I was about 3. It was just a creepy old house. Sometimes you could go from one room to another, or even be standing in the same room, and sometimes it would just get really cold, so cold that you could see your breath. And then 2 seconds later it could be warm again. Sometimes things would move, get misplaced, move around. Remember when I was little, I had this one creepy clown doll. That's probably why I don't like clowns. But it was given to us by the landlords, and I couldn't sleep with the thing in my room, and I used to complain about it all the time. So my parents took it out of their room, and just to, kind of calm me down, be like, look, there's nothing wrong with the doll, you can sleep with it, it's fine. And they couldn't sleep with the darn thing either, so we all went out for the day, and we left the doll in the kitchen, and we came home, the doll was back in my room. It was really creepy. No one was home, it moved on its own. But, yeah, so just, just creepy noises and other things that would go bump in the night.
I've never actually had anything happen to me, but there was one time at a family reunion where a lot of my relatives were sitting around, and they all were from the country, and they were talking about weird things that had happened to them. It was very cool to listen to their stories, but I've never actually had anything paranormal happen to me.
Back in 1996 when my mother died, and she passed on March 31st of that year. And I remember after coming from the emergency room where we left her body, we finally got home, and we were still, I guess, numb to the entire experience. And I remember going up into my bedroom, very upset, very extremely emotional because I lost my mother. And all I remembered when I got into bed, I could not stop crying. And then I could just feel a peace come over me, and it was almost like someone touching my shoulder. And at that point, I knew that was my mother.
I cannot remember actually having any sort of paranormal experience. I used to have a lot of night terrors when I was younger, but I mean, those, I pretty much know what they are. They seemed real at the time.
My freshman year, I was in the dorm next to the music building and heard someone practicing the piano at about midnight and didn't really think anything of it because it was like warm weather and our windows were open, until everybody in the whole dorm was talking about it the next morning, and we discovered that the music building is like locked by 8 p.m. or something like that, and it was also one of the buildings that was supposed to be one of the most haunted ones on campus. So maybe it was a ghost, maybe it wasn't.
To the best of my recollection, I haven't really experienced one myself, at least to my knowledge. So,
probably watching X-Files or Blair Witch movies.
I was in the art department, and my teacher came down, and she was really sweaty, and I was like, "Oh, Bridget, what's wrong?" And she was like, I have this great story to tell you. Just don't tell anybody. Close the door." And she closes the door, and she sends all the students out of the room, and she says, "I was down in Hollywood Cemetery with my kids, and we were drawing tombstones and trees for figure studies, and I ran into this lady, and she was wearing 18th century clothes, and she came up to me and she asked me, you know, like, oh, you're showing your kids, you know, the architecture. Are you drawing? You drawing? That's really great. I like to draw. My teacher was like, oh yeah, she must be a tour guide or something. And then Bridget turns around to, you know, tell one of her kids, like, don't climb on that thing. And she turns back and the lady's gone, and she's like, oh, well, I guess she just had something to do. And then, you know, the day goes on, and then later she is on at the very bottom of the swoop, you know, at the entrance to Hollywood Cemetery where there's that big hill that goes down.
Right.
She's at the bottom, and she looks up, and there the lady is again, and she's walking up the hill, except when she looks at the lady, her torso fades out into nothing, and she doesn't have any legs. She's just drifting up the hill. And, you know, my teacher is very upset about this, but she gathers up all the students. She says, oh, okay, you guys, I know it's, you know, we have half an hour left, but, like, get your stuff, we're going to go back. She just like, dismisses the kids, and she comes back, and she, like, bursts into the art room, and she's like, I have a story to tell you. And that was the story, and it was really scary.
Wow.
And I'm sure that's, you know, one of many wonderful stories having to do with that property. It's such a like, rich historical area.
Yeah, absolutely. Try to make pals with the guys.
Yeah, I would. Again, like I said, nothing bad has ever happened, so if there really are ghosts, they're probably just really harmless, so it wouldn't stop me from working.
You know, I've never seen anything happen during work hours, and it's not something that I really focus on. I just do my job, and that's it. So I don't see how it would affect me.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen anything since now. Like I said, I've been here 4 years, and sometime I'm in the pit. I think if something wanted to make their presence known, that would be the place.
Yeah, I guess. Only if I get a raise for being haunted.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
Oh man, I thought they were open.
I thought I saw someone in there.
Oh well, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess they're closed.
Would you ever make love to a ghost?
Yeah.